I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your
The warm breeze of a Sturgeon Bay spring day is upon us as the FMGTC travels 50 minutes north of Green Bay, Wisconsin for our fourth race of 2026 and third race ever at the world's fastest deodorant-sponsored raceway. Hi, hello, and good afternoon, race fans. It is a drop-dead gorgeous spring day in eastern Wisconsin as we welcome you to the Old Spice Raceway for stop number 4 of the 2026 NR2003 FlowMaster Grand Touring Championship, the Old Spice Easter Grand Prix. A pleasant good afternoon and happy Easter weekend to everyone tuning in to today's intercast of FMGTC Racing here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Live on the NESRN, my name is Trey Wright, and measuring at just over a mile and a half, we truck to our smallest track on the schedule with 150 laps on tap for this afternoon's race at Old Spice. For what it lacks in size and makes up for in power, Old Spice has produced some of the best racing we've seen here in the FlowMaster Grand Touring Championship, and with how early in the year we're here, today's race is going to look a lot different than in years past. But first, going over our third race of the year 2 weeks ago, up north in Massachusetts at the Papyrus Motorsports Park, where we saw two fantastic late race battles decide the winners in both GT Le Mans and GT Daytona for the Duncan New England Grand Prix. Owen Miles bested Kyle Wood to take home his second consecutive win at Papyrus in GTLM, while Logan Alexander had to overcome a last corner charge from the 25 of Dylan Ebrahimian to win in dominant fashion for GT Daytona. We're officially a quarter of the way through the season after the Papyrus Motorsports Park's race 2 weeks ago, and after today we'll be a third of the way through 2026. And looking at how the points have shifted around with these last few races, the qualifying procedures have really proven who the top contenders truly are. Looking at GT Le Mans first, Bradley Ream is still looking for his first win in a Grand Touring car, but he's got a 5-point lead for first in the standings. The good news for him is that Riley Sampson DNQ'd yesterday in qualifying, so that leaves Nathan Stapleton and Owen Miles the closest competition to Ream, with Chris Harvey waiting in the wings as well. Harvey starts the highest of the top 5 drivers in points on the grid on that outside pole spot. And once again in GT Daytona, the top 2 in the point standings failed to qualify for the next race, as both Dylan Ebrahimian and Carson Miller, who finished second and third 2 weeks ago at the Papyrus Motorsports Park, will be watching the race from their motorhomes, as Alexander Rowe in all likelihood will take the points lead away coming out of this afternoon if he has a solid run in that 88 machine. Rowe does start 7th in the 21-car grid for GT Daytona. We'll have to see what he is able to do. Like we said, Old Spice is the smallest track we go to in the FMGTC series, measuring at just over a mile and a half. It's a hybrid of a few different race courses around the country, a long front stretch into a 90-degree corner akin to Watkins Glen International, a banked curve in Turn 7 like we saw at Papyrus 2 weeks ago, technical S's like Riverside, and of course those two hairpins at either end of the speedway, much like the Martinsville Speedway, to complete a full lap. But today is going to be much different based solely on the time of year and the weather. It's early April here in Wisconsin, which means it is a lot cooler than when we ran here in mid-August. It's about a 20-degree temperature difference between last year and this year, which means there's going to be even more grip than usual. And of course, when there's more grip, there's more aggressiveness. As Rick Allen once said, the more aggressive we got, aggressive is going to go around, and there's going to be plenty of action all the way around this track here this afternoon. It's short course racing today for the second time in as many weeks, and like we said, it is a perfect race conditions here in Sturgeon Bay. Barely a cloud in the sky, picture perfect spring day, a day just before Easter. It's time to bring the Sturgeon Bay faithful the action. It's also time to bring them the noise. We send things down trackside from the most famous words in motorsports to light them up for race number 4 of the season for the Old Spice Easter Grand Prix from the Old Spice Raceway.
Drivers, start your engine!
42 Grand Touring cars come to life here as we are ready to rock and roll for 150 laps. Kasumi Takashi and the U.S. Air Force number 7 Chevrolet Corvette will lead the field of GT Le Mans 2, the green flag. Chris Harvey, the Willow Springs winner, looking for that second win of the season in the Army Black Knights number 8 machine. Going back into here for GT Daytona, yet another front row start for Kyler Anderson. He will lead GT Daytona to the green flag in that number 42 machine. Shakira Takashi, both Takashi sisters in the front rows for their respective classes. See what she'll be able to do in that Bud Light number 46 machine here today at Old Spice. Joey Hightower a little bit anxious to get going there in car number 27 for GT Le Mans. They go through one of the 2 hairpin corners here at Old Spice. It is a picture-perfect afternoon. No surprises there. We're going to see these guys come down the pit lane probably every 62 to 63 laps, so a 2-stop race is in order. The field goes through this high-banked corner in turn number 7. We are ready to go. Esteban Lacer, the only previous winner in the grid today, starting 10th for GT Daytona. Kasumi Takashi looking for that first ever win in GTLM. She will lead this field of 42 horses strong to the green flag, and here we go. We're live and ready to go, and right off of the start, John Andrews into the inside wall in the 3 machine. That's not the start that he wanted, and a quick start here. Right off of the opening gun, Felipe Santos a little bit wide going through the corner, and we're already ready to go here out of the opening corners. Great start for Kasumi Takashi as we go through turn number 3 for the opening time. 3 wide, and we're already seeing everybody fan out all the way across the racetrack. Coming around through turn number 7 and back towards turn number 8. This is going to be the trouble spot all afternoon long. We got 4 wide going through the corner. Oh, Michael Lewis nearly getting hooked there as Zachary Fitzwater getting aggressive. I didn't think we were going to see 4 wide through the eastern hairpin, but here we are. And what a start to this race, ladies and gentlemen. John Andrews didn't even make it to the green flag, and that 3 machine already dropping back immensely. Started this race in 7th, and he has fallen down to 11th, so not the start that you'd want. But meanwhile, Takashi looking to lead the opening 2 laps of the day, and how about Kyle Woods? Started in that 5th spot. He's already +2 on the pylon. Here comes Chris Harvey, trying to make his move down to the inside of that 7 machine. Drag race down the front straightaway across the bridge. They're side by side for the lead. Takashi's going to have the preferred line going through 2, but Harvey is going to have that inside going through the hairpin. Through turn 3 they go. New race leader Chris Harvey goes a little bit up the track, and now Kyle Wood wants to take that 2nd spot away from Takashi. Those 2 side by side for 2nd. Angel Gutierrez trying to get another decent run in that 90 machine. And how about Owen Miles? Started this race in 6th. He's already up to 5th. He's looking for a decent spot as we had trouble in turn number 8. 1 car had gone around. It was Kyler Anderson, the pole sitter. He is so good on these qualifying shows, but he went around in turn number 8, and now a problem for Robert Mikhailovich, who's gone a little bit around out of turn number 8. And of course, turn 8 is going to be Calamity Corner all day long as Connor Monaco nearly swinging up into the 56. Kyler Anderson is going to take, oh, he's going to punt the 56, and around goes the 42 and the 56. So a horrifying afternoon, getting exponentially worse for Kyler Anderson and Robert Mikhailovich, who has not had a great start to his FMTTC career. We'll have a horrendous 5th lap of the day, and we've got one car in the garage area. It's Zachary Fitzwater. We saw him go 4 wide earlier on in the event, and that did not help him whatsoever. I believe he got retangled up with the 54. Michael Lewis, heavy damage on the rear end of that 54 machine, and well, we owe you a couple of different replays here of what happened. In turn number 3 again, those 2 hairpin corners are the most dangerous on the track. We said that they're akin to Martinsville, and well, there's definitely something to write about that. And that's a tough break for Zachary Fitzwater, who is in his first race since the Daytona 2.4. Where he finished relatively well in the Daytona race. And same thing with him and Eric Monaco, who are in their second races of the season. Monaco also dropping a little bit back in the 2 machine. So he's going to give the 11 a little bit of a shot from behind. Monaco currently on the rear end of GT Lamar right now as Reggie Fogelman. A lot of rear end damage in that clean number 11 machine as he got poked from the rear end. Kasumi Takashi is going to take the race lead away, way wide through the corner, however. That's going to get a little bit dangerous going through turn 8. Daniel Bouchard and Aaron Abel, 2 of the stalwarts in this division right now on the rear end of that 046 machine. Good to see Aaron Abel back in the field after failing to qualify for GT Daytona at Papyrus. And how about Esteban Lacer? Said he started this race in that 10th spot, has already moved his way up into the 7th spot, if I believe. Logan Alexander's trying to say thank you very much. Not quite able to get a ledge underneath that Rain-X Viper just yet. Takashi running some interesting lines, trying to find a way around that 11 machine as Zachary Fitzwater has officially put that automobile in the garage area. First retiree from this race, 4 laps in. Bouchard looking for a way around this 46, but he's not quite able to get around Takashi as Chikura Takashi, as Kasumi has dropped substantially down to 7th in that 7 machine. So one of the Takashi sisters is doing pretty well. She's got the lead in GT Daytona, but Kasumi Takashi has not had a great start to this race. She has dropped back significantly into the clutches of John Andrews, who's able to climb his way back up to 8th as Joey Hightower also falling back a little bit. Andrews 8th that last time by as he started in 7th and had a just horrendous start, getting turned off the front end of somebody. I believe it was off the front end of Caleb Rose. So he's trying to move around that 7 machine. Not able to do so just yet as Bradley Ream in his own zip code currently in that 6th spot, but Chris Harvey continuing to lead a little bit more, and you can see the fresh tire tracks. I believe we have another car go around. It was Alexander Rowe. So the potential new points leader is likely not going to be the new points leader either, as Alexander Rowe getting turned up in turn number 8. And it looks like Philip Torres also getting caught up in an incident. I believe he was also caught up in that incident with Zachary Fitzwater. You'll have seen the replay by now, of course. It's Bryce Egan under fire from Chikura Takashi, who has gotten around the 11 machine, and Eric Monaco trying to hold off that 46 car as well. Chikura getting very aggressive, and Eric going way wide through the corner. He nearly clipped that attenuator, and that would have piled up everybody in the GTD lead. Oh, Takashi had to check up there to avoid running into the 2, and she nearly got ran over by the 16. Bryce Egan will be back there with that 11 machine. It has not been a good season FMGTC-wise for Bryce Eakin. He does have a win in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series he got a couple of weeks ago. So he's trying to make his way towards the front end of this GT Daytona pack. How about Dylan Matthews in the 26 trying to claw back into this points battle? Right now, fairly deep in the grid in terms of points. Trying to see who that 26 car is. She's down to 11th, 167 off from where Ibrahimian and Miller are sitting right now. The same thing with Aaron Abel as well as Daniel Bouchard, two drivers that missed the race 2 weeks ago. We're trying to remain relatively afloat. Abel down in 18th and Bouchard in 15th in the standings. And they're looking for a couple of solid runs here today, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th respectively for all these drivers. And same thing for Lauren Martinez. She's only 130 off of the points lead. And she currently runs the highest of everybody inside of the top 10 right now. As Will Parrish, he failed to qualify for the race. Eric Blaze is back there in the 9. Tight Nicholas, Marcus Glitch, and Logan Alexander all in line. Alexander looking for that 2nd win of the season. Currently running just away from these guys, and Shakira Takashi has put quite a bit of distance between herself and that 8 machine of Daniel Bouchard. She's got quite a bit of distance on track, and she's got a pick there with the 16 of Bryce Eakin, who's just trying to work that Corvette to the max. But right now, back at the front of the pack, still Chris Harvey, Pied Piper of Old Spice right now, and of course Angel Gutierrez, who has not had a good season by any stretch of the imagination. Currently 187 points off of the race lead, or the points lead I should say. But it has been a season from hell so far. No other really words to describe it. Wrecking out at Daytona, wrecking a couple of different times at Daytona. I believe he finished that race, was able to at least salvage a finish in that 90 car, wrecking out at Willow Springs on the, 3rd or 4th lap of the race, if memory serves me right. And then failing to qualify for race number 3 of the season. So finally seeing that Home Depot Corvette up at the front of the field. And Angel still looking for that first win. Of course, it's also been a little bit of a struggle bus on the Mission Barbecue Cup Series side of things, as the 2 Mal Racing teammates on the Mission Barbecue Cup Series end of the spectrum have not played too well. They're still looking for their first win as an organization, and Gutierrez has not shown the same speed as we saw last year. It was with the final season for Stealth Motorsports, Cameron Garlington's Cup Series outfit. Running pretty well right now, and he's got Owen Miles right behind him, who's looking for 2 wins in a row. And Miles, after not failing to qualify for the season opener at Daytona. And also, if memory serves me right, he was also involved in that accident with the 90 of Gutierrez, if I'm not mistaken. We'll double check that. But, a pretty dominant win 2 weeks ago at Papyrus. He's up to 4th in the point standings. 16 points back of Bradley Ream. That's going to be very close if things are going to hold the way they are. But again, we're only on lap number 17 of the afternoon. Still plenty of time to go as Esteban Lacer looks like he's gone around in one of the corners. And the previous winner, the defending winner here at Old Spice for GT Daytona, having some issues in the 066. And same thing with Lauren Martinez as well. She has dropped back. Same thing with Marcus Glitch, who's also dropped back in the 32. And we've got some new players at the front end of the pack right now. Or the mid-pack, I should say, for GT Daytona. But that is not what you want there for Lauren Martinez. She's got a lot of rear-end damage in that Victoria's Secret Viper. Good news for Kyler Anderson. He's able to try and claw back a little bit here, but Priya McShane in her first race of the season, also with some heavy rear-end damage. She's backed it into the outside wall as well. Now that leaves Rogel Dorn, who came into today 110 points out of the race lead of Dylan Abrahamian. The highest driver inside the top 10 right now for GT Daytona. That's 75, currently running 9th in GTD, right behind Ryan Durrani, who's in his first race since Daytona, looking for his first finish of the season as well. Takashi is caught up to Eric Monaco, trying to put that 2 machine behind the class leader for GT Le Mans. For GT Daytona, Michael Lewis trying to hold on a little bit there as well in that Ryobi Toyota, in that Ryobi Jaguar, I should say. Haven't talked about this guy since Daytona, really, is Anthony Joseph trying to make some moves on the middle part of the field for GT Le Mans, as Bruno Diacomo with some issues. I think he got ran into by Nathan Stapleton, as those two have dropped a little bit off. Russell Blaze in the 86 in that 8th spot, and John Andrews is back up to where he started in 7th. It's really just been a 5-car breakaway for this GT Le Mans grid between Harvey, Wood, Gutierrez, Miles, and Caleb Rose. You know, the Jaguars historically have not fared too well. Of course, Felipe Santos did get that first ever win here at Old Spice. Driving that 64 Jaguar, which Pedro Sabato is currently wheeling in that 14th spot right now. And everybody just kind of stacking up the leaders for GT Daytona, as Aaron Abel has gotten around Bouchard for that 2nd spot. We're about a third of the way through this run, already seeing plenty of action around here. So Owen Miles nearly bumper grabbing the 90. That would be the first time that Owen Miles had bumper grabbed somebody in the last week. You go back to, ironically, Esteban Lasserre, who he bumper grabbed at Rockingham last week. Zachary Fitzwater currently the only car that's out of the race, and it has not been a great week for Zachary Fitzwater. Caught up in a couple of different incidences at Rockingham. Currently sits towards the tail end of the field in points for GT, or rather just the Mission Barbecue Cup Series, but also he's right at the bottom in the points for GT Le Mans. 23rd in the standings, is only the 2nd race that he has made. And again, the bulk of the points that he's been receiving coming from that solid run at Daytona back in the first race of the season, and that was 7th for Fitzwater. And he's going to promptly finish down in 21st for GT Le Mans. And already, oh, we got one car going around. We got multiple cars going around. Connor Monaco, Lauren Martinez, and Marcus Glitch around in turn number 1, and that is right as the race leaders are catching up to everybody. That might be the end of the day for Lauren Martinez, as Esteban Lasserre gets the chrome horn from the 8 machine. And Martinez got to be careful to let these faster GTLM cars get around. Again, it's only a mile and a half. We're 23 laps into this race, and already the GTLM drivers have caught up to the rear end of the Daytona field. Connor Monaco not having a great day. Kyle Wood trying to move underneath that 66 machine. A 3-car accident that all started when someone was trying to come out of the pit lane. We know that coming out of the pits can be very sketchy here at Old Spice, and it certainly was sketchy there. And how about this? You know, we were just talking about how Owen Miles was right behind Esteban Lasserre 1 week ago, and Lasserre, I think he's just trying to pull as far away from that 59 as he can. Miles on the outside. You got Caleb Rose right behind that 66, and Owen Miles is not going to pull the meme. And he'll quickly move underneath the inside of that stricken Rain X Viper. That'll officially put the 66 a lap down. Lauren Martinez has retired from the race, so she will finish 21st in GT Daytona. And now Landon Walker with a mechanical issue in the 18. And he will finish in 20th, and that is such a tough break for him. That's right as the GTLM leaders are filing their way through. Owen Miles trying to get to the inside of the 18, and he will. Esteban Lacer goes the outside route, and he nearly goes into the attenuator. So a little bit adventurous of the last couple of laps here for the GTLM leaders as they is caught up to the tail end of the pack in GT Daytona. And again, we're only about halfway through this run. But that is just how much of a bull ring this track is. Again, you go to Willow Springs, where we typically don't see these drivers catch up to one another, as Kyle Wood, given the 693 a little chrome horn, Robert Mikhailovich around. That might be the end of his afternoon in the 56. Well, we knew these guys were going to get aggressive, and we know aggressive goes around, but we didn't think it was going to be to this degree. As Mikhailovich is going to remain on track, so he's going to try to keep on trucking. It was a piston failure for Walker that took him out of the race. But watching these faster GTLM cars creep up quite quickly on the Daytonas, it's always been so much fun to watch here. Try to watch them knife their way through lap traffic. Miles trying to find a ledge around Gutierrez, and that might cost him fourth. Caleb Rose still keeping tabs on this top 5 right now. Still waiting in the wings a little bit. He was 3 seconds off. And Bradley Ream had, again, he's just running Q laps right now. Or he's just running practice laps, I would say. Nothing too terrible there for Bradley. You know, you're running in 6th. You're out of the way of chaos. And, of course, with all these guys knifing their way through lap traffic and just trying to navigate around everybody right now, you just want to run your own race and make sure that you're not just in the way of anybody and you're not going to get caught up in any sort of shenanigans like we might see there. A little bit of a bump there from the 90 to the 93. Here comes Miles underneath of Gutierrez, a drag race for that 4th spot. For the 3rd spot, I should say, as Kyle Wood goes underneath of Joseph Wood, the 2 Wood brothers going side by side. Miles trying to take that spot away. Not quite a ledge there, but for the 59 to go, and it's still side by side. Miles will take that spot away at the line. And this is just nothing short of fantastic racing, as those two only separated by 2 1/1000ths of a second. It was Gutierrez that actually got the lead at the line, or actually got the position at the line by 2 1/1000ths of a second. That's made this a 3-horse race for this 3rd spot, as Connor Monaco continuing to hold these guys up a little bit. Now Miles will take 3rd away. He's trying to get around the younger Monaco brother, and Gutierrez in danger of slipping back to 5th as Rose very hungry behind that 90 Corvette. And that has allowed Bradley Ream to close up a little bit back into this battle in that 40 machine. Not his doing, but you know what? They're going to give positions on a silver platter. You might as well try and take them. But now, cutting his way through the field like butter has been Chris Harvey, and we saw him do a lot of this at Willow Springs in that win a couple of months ago. And Kyle Wood has just not been able to get around lap traffic, and that's really split things up here for GT Le Mans. Wood trying to get around McShane, who's on the outside of that 49. And now Kyler Anderson is holding up Owen Miles a little bit. Now Caleb Rose under fire from Bradley Ream. I think Kyler Anderson's, you know, he's seeing his mentor right behind all of these drivers. Right in front of all these drivers. He's seen his mentor behind these guys. And he's just trying to give him a couple of free spots, I would gauge, as Rose is just looking for a way around. A little bump to the 7, and around goes Joseph Wood. He's able to quickly grab a gear, and just barely avoiding the disaster was the Colonel. I can't believe that Caleb Rose got out of that virtually unscathed, but a bad day gets worse for Joseph Wood. And what a race that we have had so far. Again, we're only halfway through this opening run of pit stops. We're only 32 laps into this race, and has already been a barn burner here for the Old Spice Easter Grand Prix. Gutierrez is going to make it 3 wide, going through 3. Anderson on the outside. He's just going to let these two on by and try to attack from the rear end. It's been such a great battle to watch here. Anderson now under fire from Caleb Rose. Rose is going to give him another little bit of a door slam. Nearly another slam there on the front straightaway. This has been so much fun to watch, but it's not been fun for Kyler Anderson, as Ream will now move to the inside of his protege. And John Andrews is being able to get back up into the battle a little bit as well. Anderson will let that 40 car move out of the way, and we go back in here to GT Daytona. And here we go, the fight is on between Takashi and Abel. Those two have got a little bit of distance between themselves and Dylan Matthews. Takashi trying to find a way around Emily York Watson, who has been surpassed there by Eric Monaco. Monaco up inside the top 15, so decent little ground for him to pick up. But Aaron Abel, he's hungry for a win in that 98 machine. Abel looking for that second career win in his Grand Touring career. Last year's winner at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Shakira Takashi looking for her first career win, driving her sister's old car from last year, which Kasumi Takashi took that 46 car to victory lane in Mexico City, where we'll be in 1 month's time here for the Telso Cinco de Mayo Grand Prix at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. And if you thought the bumper grabbing and the ARCA braking were bad enough in turn number 3 here, just wait until we get to turn number 2 at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in a month's time. That's going to be fun. It's Tuesday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo afternoon down in Mexico City. And of course, then this is now, we still got plenty of time to go in this race. 116 laps remain in the Old Spice Easter Grand Prix. And Abel just trying to bide his time a little bit here. Caleb Rose has got the fastest lap of the race for GT Le Mans. And right now, the fastest lap for GT Daytona belonging to Eric Blaze in the 09. A 42.59 for Blaze for GTD. And a 41.86 for Rose, who is quickly becoming one of the fastest cars on track right now. But again, 41.8, that's the top time for GT Le Mans. And Harvey, last time by, he ran a 43.42. Now, that's mostly because they're in thicker lap traffic than pudding right now. As Titan Nicholas will be putting a lap down by the 49. So lap traffic has certainly not helped the 8 machine in terms of laps, but also the tire wear has not been helping that 8 machine either. We're starting to see this fall off a little bit here, and around goes the 88 and the 49. Kyle Wood punts Alexander Rowe out of the way. He goes up into the safer barrier. He's only going to lose 2 spots. And he's actually going to lose a lot more. He's going to come down the pit lane. Same thing with Caleb Rose. I think Rosie, he's got some damage in the 5. He may have ran to the back of somebody. So 2/3 of the top 5 in GT Le Mans are going to come down the pit lane, and they've got heavy damage on both their automobiles. We'll see for Caleb Rose. Actually, they're just going to come down the pit lane normally here. Same thing with Kasumi Takashi. She'll trundle down the pit lane. Those two will come down and get some service. You know what? See if these guys will start the cycle here early. But nobody else is going to come down. 5 is going to get some repairs, and Rose is out of the way. Same thing with Wood. That's going to be a very interesting strategy for both of those drivers, and, well, both strategies have a weird time panning out as Titan Nicholas very twitchy through 1, and he nearly got himself put into the grandstands by Gutierrez, who's found his way up to second, 3 seconds off of Chris Harvey. 39 laps into the race this next time by, and well, to say that today has been no short of drama would be an understatement. Here comes the 3 down the pit lane. So Don Andrews, about 20 laps earlier than we anticipated. He's going to come down the pit lane. I think the fall off might be a little bit stronger for these drivers than we thought. And they might come down the pit lane for tires a little bit earlier than we anticipated. I didn't think they were going to be coming down 20 laps earlier. And again, we haven't seen any of the leaders come down yet. Let's check back in here with GT Daytona in a second. It's Bouchard trying to find a way around that 54. We got one car doing agricultural work. I believe that may have been the 16 of Egan, who went off track, actually, or it may have been 32, who was continuing to drop back in that Advocare Mustang. Abel lunging for the lead. He's not quite able to get there on the 46. Takashi trying to find a way around that 08 of Emily York-Watson, and she will. Those drivers battling for a position on the pylon at least. York-Watson is still going to remain in that 11th spot for GT Le Mans, I should say. But Takashi will put a pick between herself and the 46 as 32 machine is still just trying to hold on here with Monaco still right behind him. Got one other car down the pit lane. It's Prix and McShane. And Harvey, he's just continuing to put lap car after lap car. He's got caught up in a little bit of trouble here with Buchanan and company. He's able to get around that 99. He's able to get around the 9 as well. Gutierrez now trying to find a way around that 4 machine as Philip Torres just trying to hold on a little bit after getting caught up in an early incident. Owen Miles looking for that 3rd spot as well. Same thing with the 40 of Bradley Ream, who's made his way up to 4th after everything that has gone on. Kasumi Takashi has gone to the garage area with an engine gearbox failure. So the pole sitter, both pole sitters with trouble in this race, and you knew that it was so suspicious that Takashi was falling like a rock in this event. And we know why. The gearbox, but you kind of need that. Failing on that U.S. Air Force number 7 machine, and she will finish in 20th after starting from the pole. And you kind of need a shift here at a track like this, and that is such a tough break. Logan Alexander now under fire from that 8 machine. Harvey has been nothing but dominant in this race, and just as we're talking about that, he's going to go wide off track, spins the 7. Here comes Gutierrez as Emily York-Watson was stopped in the middle of the track, an issue with the 08. Owen Miles with damage. He ran into that 08 car slightly, I think. Is that going to be enough to take him out? Oh, we had a big wreck. We had a couple of cars go around. I'm not sure if these guys are just getting damage repair. But lap number 46, 44, completely tossing everything out the window, and the commentator's curse just striking immediately. And Angel Gutierrez goes to the race lead after Chris Harvey runs into lap down issues. We saw that happen live. He just bit off a little bit too more than he could chew, trying to put Logan Alexander a lap down. We see a lot of guys coming down the pit lane here. I believe it was a flat tire. No, it was an engine failure for Emily York-Watson, who was running at 11th at the time. And goodness gracious. This has already been a fantastic race, and we're not even a third of the way through. There's still so many different wrinkles that this race could uphold. Angel Gutierrez started this race in 4th. He is up to the race lead in car number 90. How about them apples? He's trying to move underneath the 75. He's going to door slam Rogeldorn just a tad. Nothing too hard. And speaking of nothing too hard, it doesn't look like that was too hard of a hit there for Harvey as he went into the inside, the outside wall in turn 3. And I thought, you know what, he may have just dinged it a little bit. I thought he was going to keep the race lead as it was a drag race. And of course, Owen Miles also dropping back in the 59. You got Caleb Rose, who's one lap down on a different strategy than everybody else. Kyle Wood also a lap down as well. We haven't even gotten to our first official set of pit stops. There's just been a couple of cars here and there coming down the pit lane that have got some damage repairs as Harvey banging into the 9 a little bit. Eric Blaze, he's going to be telling the 8 that he's number 1. And now we'll see if there's a little bit of payback there after Chris Harvey getting a little too used to using the chrome horn. I don't see any damage on the 59 of Owen Miles. There might be a little bit of hood buckling, but doesn't look like there's nothing too bad on the 59 because I think, I didn't see it in real time, but I'm pretty sure he just dinked Emily York Watson a little bit, and it was a camshaft failure for Watson that took her out of the race. And GT Le Mans is just dropping like flies right now. Miles is going to make it 3 wide underneath the 9 of the 99. This is going to be a little bit tight. Buchanan having to jam on the brakes to avoid making it a 3-car wreck. Miles will find a way around that Ford Mustang and trying to find a way around the Viper of Eric Blaze. Russell Blaze up to 4th, funny enough. You know, we haven't talked about Russell Blaze at all today. I think we mentioned him in passing, but he and Nathan Stapleton are inside the top 5. You know, Nathan Stapleton was, I think Bradley Ream. Did Bradley Ream come down the pit lane? No, he was caught up in an incident. We didn't even notice that Bradley Ream had fallen off the face of the earth, I believe. He has come down. He is 2 laps down. So he was caught up in an incident, so that is really going to change everything in the point structure. Because again, you look at the standings, Ream only 10 points in front of Nathan Stapleton. Nathan Stapleton, you know, where he's running right now in that 5th spot, which I believe might be a career high for him. I'm Nathan Stapleton, the way he's running right now, he's going to end up as the points leader going into Mexico City. And again, Nathan Stapleton, he's still looking for that first career win in the FMGTC. That JBL 97 has just been pretty solid, all things considered. He's trying to move around to Russell Blaze. And Blaze will let him scoot on by with Buchanan waiting in the wings there for those guys to potentially make a mistake. It has been nothing short of a great race so far. I think I'm sounding like a broken record when I say that. And in GT Le Mans, GT Daytona, you know, it's really just been a giant game of cat and mouse between Abel and Takashi, as Takashi has led pretty much every lap so far in this race in that 046. You know, Abel has just been biding his time, waiting for a ledge around that Bud Light Mustang. A little bit of a twitch there, and he's going to lose a little bit of time. And you know what? We're going to go on board with the 98 of Aaron Abel, and we're going to take you for a lap around the Old Spice High Endurance Raceway. It's Marcus Glitch out of the way. Up the racetrack goes the 46. Trying to find a way around the 56 of Robert Mikhailovich, and Mikhailovich will let the 46 scoot on by. And up through the bank turn of turn number 7 and off towards the hairpin right before we get to the start-finish line. Now Takashi's got a little bit of breathing room there with the 98. And now she's trying to find the ledge around that 32 of Glitch, who has been into the wall a couple of different times. Takashi moving underneath of the 32, and we'll see what she's seeing out of her rear view mirror. And now she's got 2 cars in between herself for the top spot. Oh, Aaron Abels, he's going to come down the pit lane. So Abel down the pit lane on lap number 54. Same thing with Angel Gutierrez, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Nathan Stapleton, oh, did Stapleton, he got ran over by somebody. And the commentator's curse striking once again. We don't see the 8 of Chris Harvey out on track, and that's because I believe Harvey may have got caught up with the 5 as Caleb Rose. He is destroyed. I believe he was fighting with Nathan Stapleton at the time, and those two caught up in an incident. Trying to see where Chris Harvey is. Out on track right now. There goes Stapleton. Owen Miles down the pit lane, and there is Chris Harvey. And Angel Gutierrez is going to come out in front of him in that 90 machine. And it looks like we had another incident in turn number 1, I believe is going to be the case. And for Caleb Rose, he has not had a great relationship here at Old Spice, and I know that he is absolutely dreading coming here in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series later on. But, you know, these guys, we expected these guys to come down around laps 62 to 64. So it's a little bit perplexing to see these guys come down a little bit 10 laps earlier than we thought. And it looks like everybody is just going to be trying to split this race into 2/3 as Miles will come out, and he's going to beat Chris Harvey off of the pit lane on the overcut. Joey Hightower is going to stay out an extra lap, and there he is in the 27, currently trying to put Bradley Ream a lap down, who's still, Ream is still going to be a lap down, but he's going to have to come down the pit lane once again, and there goes Hightower. Takashi, didn't she make a pit stop yet in the 46? She did, and she's going to be out in front of Aaron Abel on fresher tires, so the overcut working pretty well here on the short course for the 46, and I think that's going to be what the doctor ordered for pretty much all of these guys. Harvey and Miles battling for second right now, with Russell Blaze waiting in the wings for these drivers. A little bit of a ding there off of the pit lane for Philip Torres. And John Andrews has climbed his way up to 5th after he wrecked his car, not even getting to the start-finish line. So a good recovery for that 3 machine. As he has made his first pit stop of the day, and Gutierrez, who has led 11 laps so far today, will continue to hold on to the race lead, and he is surrounded by lap down traffic all the way around him. He's trying to find a way around that 93. Dylan Matthews has gone down a lap. She got shuffled back a little. Actually, Matthews is in that 3rd spot now. Now the 2 class leaders are going to be on top of one another here in just a couple of laps, with Takashi trying to outrun the 90 of Angel Gutierrez. Gutierrez underneath the corner, Monaco, and Monaco is just going to go up into the outside wall. A wheel hop right in front of the Le Mans leader. And a bad day gets worse for the 93. Monaco, who was relatively deep in the grid at the time. Caleb Rose has pulled his car behind the wall, and again, GT Le Mans dropping like flies. And speak of the devil, Bryce Egan, he's got a significant engine failure. I swear to God, it is almost like the game knows when I'm talking about somebody. try to make a trend, and it's going to upheal that trend. And that is such a tough break for Egan. Actually, no, that was Reggie Fogelman. Bryce Egan is in the 16. I keep confusing those drivers, but Fogelman, he's going to be the one with an issue. Bryce Egan is still out on track. He is currently a lap down. And Gutierrez is caught up to Abel for that second spot. Trying to put that Daytona car one lap down in that second spot, and Abel just trying to hold on here. I think he's trying to use that 90 car as a little bit of a boost. Instead, Gutierrez is going to be down on the inside, trying to find a way around that 98 machine. Of course, on the day I'm recording this, it's opening day, and the Mets are already losing. Good thing I'm a Nationals fan, because, hey, at least we've got a championship. Gutierrez is going to have the inside line going through turn number 8, but Abel fighting back a little bit. But I think you just don't want to not let the 90 car go and let him try and deal with lap down traffic, as Takashi has put a lot of distance between herself. And we had another crash coming off of the pit lane, trying to see who it involved. May have been Philip Torres, or is that the 97? There's Nathan Stapleton going on by. Ooh, Stapleton's just going to hit the outside wall a little bit. Same thing with Torres, who is going to come back down the pit lane. It's not been a great race for him. He's trying to find a way around Michael Lewis. Again, I feel it's so frustrating when all of this action is happening and we've only been able to pick out a couple of incidences here and there live. I'm just kicking myself for recording this so late. Russell Blaze trying to find a way around that 16 machine. He's caught up with everybody, and John Andrews, he's still way back. He's all the way back in 11 seconds back in 5th. As he's going to split the gap between Glitch and Dorn. And this is really where the race just becomes a race of attrition, with everybody spread out like butter all the way across the track. Monaco trying to hold off that 90. Gutierrez looking for an avenue around him. Might have the inside. He's just going to think better of it. But Owen Miles, currently, he's only a second and a half back of that 90 car, so Gutierrez does have a little bit of a gap. He has a one-car cushion with Abel between himself and Miles. Still finding a way around that 2 machine. He's now going to go to the inside. Those two side by side. Gutierrez trying to find his way around the 2 car. He's going to have that inside preferred line going through turn 3. And he's going to slide up, a little bit of slide job maneuver there. And Eric Monaco will go a lap down, trying to fight back a little bit, but not able to do so. Now Miles is caught up to the 98, and he knows that it's relatively go time right now. And, you know, if you can't, I think if Abel is trying to find his way up to this race lead as one more car has gone around on the bridge. There is some smoke on the bridge, but not sure if I think that's 41 or the 22. See a lot of accidents coming off of the pit lane. But doesn't look like anybody else has been knocked out from this race. So again, we only got 9 cars on the lead lap. One of them is Chikira Takashi. And we got one car down in the pits. That's Bruno Diacomo, I should say. Ryan Durrani coming out of the service area. He will rejoin 2 laps down, I believe, in his first race since the Daytona 2.4. Bryce Egan and Kyler Anderson giving each other a little bit of a run for each other's money here on the 67th lap of the day. Anderson he's still falling way off there on the 42. He's hoping for a little bit more chaos in GT Daytona, as Lasser will come down once again. Oh, and like clockwork, Aaron Abel has gone around in turn number 8, and there goes Shakira Takashi's lone competition. Like clockwork. So Aaron Abel has dropped all the way back in that 98 machine. Actually, did he just only drop down to 3rd? There's no way he just dropped down to 3rd. There's no way, because Bryce Egan. These guys can't be that far back. They were that far ahead? They were 7 seconds ahead of everybody. Okay, so Aaron Abel has only dropped down to 3rd in GT Daytona. I didn't think that they were that far ahead of Buchanan. I didn't even think Nathan Buchanan and Eric Blaze were that far behind. Okay, so it's not worst case scenario for Aaron Abel. It's obviously not the best, as he's going to lose a ton of track position. Takashi. Still trying to find a way around as she was put a lap down there by Gutierrez. So Gutierrez has now put everybody in GT Daytona 1 lap down. 81 laps remain in the Old Spice Easter Grand Prix, as Angel Gutierrez, the closest that he has come to winning on the North American, or rather the FlowMaster Grand Touring Championship, coming in last year's race at Denver. Ironically, it was 1 year ago where Angel Gutierrez, who was in the midst of his hot streak from early 2025, sat on the pole at Denver and led the opening third of the race before getting caught up in an incident on the pit lane. And I think he was eventually wrecked out of the race, if I'm not mistaken. So Gutierrez, 1 year later here at Old Spice, is looking for a little bit different of a result. Takashi just trying to surrender a little bit. You know, she's got a decent gap as Dylan Matthews up to 2nd with a couple of Lamar cars right behind her. Esteban Lasser dropping significantly down the pylon. I'm not sure if something happened with that 66 car. No, I think he's still dropping down after coming down the pit lane. And there's the drop down. Bradley Ream has been caught up in an accident as well. It may have been with Rogel-Dorn, who's got significant rear end damage, and the hits keep on coming for GT Le Mans. Kyle Wood also with significant front end damage. And that is yet another car in GTLM that will drop off of the face of the earth. And, well, this points battle, nobody wants this points lead for GT Le Mans. Oh, my God, I didn't even get the words out of my mouth as Owen Miles has been caught up with the GT Daytona leader. And Shakira Takashi will drop down to 3rd, and Dylan Matthews will go to the race lead. I didn't even get Owen Miles' first name out of my mouth before he was caught up in an incident. And that is going to drop him down to 4th. And he's going to come down the pit lane. Oh, my Lord. Now I know how Alex Graham felt doing the Daytona 2.4. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Where he just spent probably 5 laps jinxing everybody. And goodness gracious, that's exactly how I feel right now, as Owen Miles is going to drop all the way down. He might fall down a lap, as Chris Harvey has once again caught up to the leader. Actually, you know, Chris Harvey also involved in that incident, because he's got a little bit of damage in that 8 car, I think. You know, you've got the 86 right behind him. I think he got caught up with somebody. Goodness gracious, we were just trying to catch up with everything here. Actually, no, this is, he's caught up to the leader in GT Daytona. It's still Angel Gutierrez, the race leader. Trying to find him. There he is. Just all the chaos happening behind him. But now Chris Harvey, who's 25 points back of Bradley Ream, he's probably going to take the points lead back after today, if nothing else stupid happens. Given that it just came out of my mouth, I think something stupid is probably going to end up happening, ladies and gentlemen. Just don't quote me on it. But this time by, we can officially cue the Bon Jovi in this one, as we are halfway home through the Old Spice Easter Grand Prix, and to say that has been an exhilarating first 75 laps would be an understatement. As Angel Gutierrez leads the way, we're going to go ahead and send things downstairs here for our snap-on race break as we go through the fields presented by Fram. Starting with GT Le Mans, Angel Gutierrez leads the way, has led 31 laps on the afternoon. Chris Harvey in the middle. Deep lap traffic, and, well, Kyler Anderson doing Kyler Anderson things coming off the pit lane. But second is Chris Harvey in GT Le Mans. Third is Russell Blaze. Fourth is John Andrews, who is significantly back there in the 3 machine. Fifth is still Kyle Wood somehow, with heavy front end damage. Sixth is Anthony Joseph. We saw him somewhere out on track. There's Anthony Joseph. He's about to be put a lap down, running in 6th for GT Le Mans. Pedro Sabato runs in 7th in 64. 8th is Eric Monaco. He's up to 8th after starting this race deep in the field. He's just been doing his thing, but Monaco up to 8th. 9th is going to be Owen Miles, who's a lap down. And 10th is going to be Bryce Egan, who's another lap down. 11th is going to be Michael Lewis. Where's Lewis out on track? Lewis, I probably missed him somewhere, but Michael Lewis is 11th. There he is. 12th is Joey Hightower. 13th is Bradley Ream. We've only got 12 cars left out on track. No, Bradley Ream he's getting his repairs. So Joey Hightower is 12th. 13th is Bradley Ream. 14th is Bruno Giacomo. He's somewhere out on track, a couple of laps down. There's Giacomo. He's in 14th. And Nathan Stapleton is going to be in 15th. Philip Torrey is in 16th. Of the 16 cars still remaining out on track for GT Le Mans. Ooh, and around goes Nathan Buchanan, and hard into the outside wall he goes. It's Bryce Egan, who is in position, taking out the 99, and Nathan Buchanan was running in 4th. And he's going to lose quite a few spots in that Menards 99, and that is going to be a tough scenario for him. We'll just go over GT Daytona here. As one car down the pit lane, it's Philip Torres down the pit area once again. We'll just do the through the field based on the pylon. Dylan Matthews is going to be first. Second is Chikura Takashi. Third is going to be Eric Blaze. Fourth, Rogel Dorn. Fifth, Daniel Bouchard. Sixth, Nathan Buchanan. Seventh, Logan Alexander. Eighth, Priya McShane. Ninth, Alexander Rowe in top 10. It's going to be caboosed by Juan Carlos Espinoza. 11th is Titan Nicholas. 12th, Ryan Durrani. 13th is Esteban Lasayer. 14th, Joseph Wood. 15th, Connor Monaco. 16th, Kyler Anderson. 17th, Robert Mikhailovich. 18th, Marcus Glitch. And then everybody else, 19th is Marcus Glitch. 20th is Landon Walker, and 21st, Lauren Martinez. 21st for GT Le Mans, Zachary Fitzwater. 20th, Kasumi Takashi. 19th, Emily York Watson. 18th is Caleb Rose, and 17th is Reggie Fogelman. So that's going to be your Through the Field presented by Fram with 70 laps to go. 69 to go. A nice amount of laps to go in the Old Spice Easter Grand Prix as Angel Gutierrez continues to hold the race lead. And he has just been out of trouble so far, and he's got some clean racetrack in front of him. 36 laps led on the day. Chris Harvey's got 41 led. And Harvey back there in second, exactly 6 seconds off of the 90 machine. And we'll see if that will increase at all. Now that Gutierrez is in clean air and Harvey's just trying to hold off the 86. I think it'll definitely increase only by 15 hundredths of a second. So not terrible. Or a tenth and a half of a second, I should say. Yeah, 15 hundredths of a second. Probably realistically 17 hundredths of a second between the 8 and the 90 car. Now Bradley Ream, who is once again on the tail end of the lap down chopping block. And he's currently 2 laps down in 27th on the pylon. But how about Priya McShane running inside the top 10 for GT Daytona? Oh, and now Dylan Matthews has been passed. Matthews, oh, she went around. So the race leader in GT Daytona with an issue in turn number 8, and Aaron Abel has finally gotten up to the top step of the podium right now, and he's just got nothing but lap traffic in front of him. As John Andrews up to 4th, Kyle Wood in 5th. He's the last car on the lead lap, and this has just turned into a cavalcade of hilarity. That's Old Spice. We knew that it was going to be chaotic. We didn't think it was going to be this bad, but Dylan is she's still in second right now. And again, you know what? We can't count out anything as Owen Miles, he's gone around in the 59. He's got some significant rear end damage, so he's going to fall back. Kyle Wood is going to pass him. So Wood now, actually no, Owen Miles is a lap down. I didn't even notice that. We got 5 cars, on the lead lap. Kyle Wood 21 seconds out in front of Angel Gutierrez with a ton of front end damage, and he's on a different strategy than everybody else, and you know he's probably going to come down the pit lane in the next couple of laps or so. Starting to see, yeah, Wood has only made 1 pit stop, and that came, lap 40? So he's probably going to come down the pit lane in the next 5 laps or so, I would gauge. Ryan Durrani has also gone around. Nathan Stapleton has had his issues. And Aaron Abel still with a relatively sizable lead and an advantage over Dylan Matthews. And again, once you got that rear end completely destroyed, which we see out of that 26. It's a very loose race car. You lose all the downforce, and at a track like this where downforce means everything, it's going to be a tough road to hoe for you all day long. Anderson coming back out of the pit lane once again. And we're likely going to see these guys come down the pits in the next 10 to 15 laps or so. Anderson hits the wall. A little bit of debris coming off of that 42 as Aaron Abel will just move around him. A little bit of a swing job there for the 42 as Nathan Stapleton right on the rear end of that 98 car. And Anderson, who is just the pole sitter for today, at least he's still in the race, unlike Kasumi Takashi. but only a couple of cars out of this race with an accident. Reggie Fogelman, Emily York-Watson, Kasumi Takashi, and Landon Walker all out of this race based on mechanical failures. Again, this is only 150 miles. This is not our longest race of the season by any stretch of the imagination. It just seems long based on the mileage. But, overall, there's just been a lot of cars that haven't been able to really sustain a lot. But Gutierrez running pretty well right now. We just put Anthony Joseph and Joey Hightower another lap down. Hightower currently in that, he's currently down 26. He's 3 laps down. It's not been a great day for Joey Hightower. Now he's got Ream. Now he's got Prix and McShane. Who's up to 8th in GT Daytona. I think she's been around once or twice, but has recovered relatively solidly so far. Gutierrez looking to get around Bradley Ream, as a little bit close for comfort there. A little bit of a swing, a little bit of a twitchiness there for Bradley. Fortunately, he is not upside down yet. As you go back to Rockingham a week ago where he flipped on his lid, he scraped the entire top side of that 2 machine off at that race late in the going at Rockingham. Ironically, it involved Owen Miles as well, as those two have both been put a couple of laps down. Miles is still only 1 lap down. He's, where's that 59 car? Where's that bugger at? He's down in, he's in 9th for GT Le Mans. And Chris Harvey, he's fallen down to 6th. He came down the pit lane there. So Chris Harvey has come down the pit lane for his 2nd stop of the day, I believe. Trying to find where that 8 machine is. Marcus Glitch has pulled it behind the wall. A header failure on the 32 will take him out of the race. I'm trying to see where that 8 machine is. He is somewhere out on track. He just, there he is. He came down the pit lane. So the cycle is officially going to begin here on lap 92. Again, Chris Harvey was one of the first drivers to come down in GTLM. Or do you have some sort of mechanical issue? No, it was a flat tire for Chris Harvey. Oh, the commentator's curse. It has certainly been out in full force today. I don't know what it is about this track, as Anthony Joseph goes way wide. I don't know why he was all the way down there. But Harvey's able to get around that 22. But that could not happen at a worse time for Harvey, as he's going to be not only faster than a lot of these guys. Oh, this is going to be 3 wide going through turn 8. Diacomo just able to tap the brakes to prevent him from being 3 wide going through that tight hairpin. But Harvey's not going to be able to make it to the end of this race. These guys have been coming down tire-wise every, they came down a lot 58 to 59. So he's going to have to come down a 3rd time more than likely. Actually, they came down a lap, lap 59. So I wouldn't be surprised. We got 1 other car. It's Rogel Dorn down the pit area. A couple other guys coming down. Bradley Ream is down. Owen Miles is down. Kyle Wood. Remember, Wood came down on the same lap as somebody else. I believe it was Bradley Ream, on a different strategy. I'm trying to remember who it was that he came down the same lap with. I think it was Owen Miles, who's also on a different strategy too. Now 3 cars on the lead lap, and Gutierrez, who came down on lap number 59. Officially led the most laps in this race of 48. Harvey now down a lap. 3 cars on the lead lap currently. It's John Andrews. He's up to 3rd right now in that 3 machine, so how about that for John? He's gotten around Diacomo. Did Andrews make his second pit stop? No, he's not, but Diacomo has been having some handling issues all day long, and he is right at the bottom of the pylon, 30th on track. Closing in on the final 50 laps here in just a couple of moments, but when will these drivers make their what should be final pit stops? We got Titan Nicholas down the pit lane. Alexander Rowe is in and out of the pit area. And there goes John Andrews, and there goes Joseph Wood as well. Andrews is down, trying to see when the 90 will come down the pit lane. So there goes Diacomo. Right on cue, the handling issues striking on that Granger 12. And he'll do a little bit of agricultural work. Oh, Kyle Wood coming out of the pit lane is going to slam the wall. Unfortunately, Diacomo wasn't there to create what would have been a pretty significant stack up. There is Gutierrez. Let's put John Andrews a lap down. Again, Gutierrez has to come out of the pit lane. There is Nicholas. Andrews will be right behind him. There he is in that ace number 3. And Andrews coming out on track. Once again in that ace number 3 machine. Ooh, heavy contact there for Joseph Wood, and Nathan Stapleton just able to duck out of the way. Meanwhile, in GT Daytona, it's still Aaron Abel who's got the race lead. Shakira Takashi is multiple laps down, I think. Did she come down the pit lane again? Yes, she did. So Abel still need to make his second pit stop of the day. And I'm liking where he's sitting here on this overcut, trying to see where Gutierrez is out on track. There's the 12. Trying to find Gutierrez, and there he is, still in the middle of a lot of lap down traffic. A little bit of a rear end swing there for the 71. Gutierrez pulled the plug. He's not going to be able to. That last lap, a 42.6 for Gutierrez. Russell Blaze still right behind him, and I believe them and Anthony Joseph and a handful of other cars. They're still the only 2 leaders that have not come down the pit lane yet to make their final stop. I think Gutierrez, who nearly gets taken out by the 71. I think he's just biding his time and waiting to get to lap 100 before coming down the pit lane. He's going to get around the 71. He's not going to come down this time by. Michael Lewis will come down to make his final pit stop. And I think Gutierrez is going to come down here this next time by once he clears the 71. And here we go. 100th lap of the day. Angel Gutierrez will lead it. He has led 53 so far. McShane in the wall out of the pits. No money, no matter. And still 3.5 seconds and plenty of lap down traffic in between the 90 and the 22. I don't think that Chris Harvey is going to be able to come back around for another lap because he's currently a lap down as he the 3. And Anthony Joseph has not made his final pit stop yet, so that'll be coming soon. Lasser and Alexander both down in the pit lane. They will make their final pit stop, as will Daniel Bouchard. But Gutierrez, he's going to remain out on track. And same thing with Aaron Abel, I believe. So they're just trying to get as close on their runs as they can to give them as fresh tires to the end as they can as well. And that's the longer they run this overcut, the longer that they're going to be able to run, the better they're going to be able to run at the end of this race. So I'm liking the strategy for both the 90 and the 98. I think Russell Blaze is just trying to keep tabs with the 90 car as well. I think Eric Blaze might be on a similar strategy run with the 98 as well. So I think, and there goes Aaron Abel around in turn number 3. Commentators curse, hitting him right there. I don't see the 9, and there is the 9. And Aaron Abel will come down the pit lane here to make his final pit stop. Couldn't come at a better time. Chikara Takashi will stay out. Same thing with the 09 of Eric Blaze. And Takashi, she has made her second pit stop already. You know, I just don't know if she's going to be able to make it to the end, though. That's going to be the only thing. But Eric Blaze has to come down once again. You know, that couldn't have come at better timing for Aaron Abel. But is he going to have to repair a ton of damage on that 98 car? He is. So that's going to be a tough break for him. And Angel Gutierrez goes up the racetrack. He's able to just hold on to it. A chrome horn between himself and the 16 of Egan. Those two Chevrolet teammates in the FMGTC and Ford teammates in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. Not playing nice with one another, and now dropping that race lead down to about 3 seconds. Less than 3 seconds probably this time by is going to be Russell Blaze. There is Aaron Abel. He has made his final pit stop. Abel just misses hitting the pit wall there off of the pit exit. Where is Takashi out on track? There is the 46. And she has dropped back significantly to Eric Blaze, and there is Eric Blaze down the pit lane. So Blaze will come out. He will make his final pit stop of the day. There is Takashi. And Blaze is going to get out ahead of Takashi. Those two are going to drag race off of the pit lane. Those two side by side. Blaze has much fresher tires than Chikara Takashi, and Takashi trying to keep that ledge around with the 9 car. And Eric Blaze is going to retain that spot in the 9. But now where is Aaron Abel, who is Aaron Abel 3 laps down currently. Eric Blaze is 2. Wait for timing and scoring to shuffle out here, but I think that's going to be Aaron Blaze as Ryan Durrani, I believe, does he have an engine failure or is he just that slow? Nope, he does not have an engine failure. He's just very slow. Egan coming down the pit lane, and Logan Alexander involved in another incident in the 71. Nicholas back down the pit lane, seeing where Gutierrez sits right now, but Takashi is going to have to surrender that lead as Eric Blaze will go to the race lead in the 9. And now Angel Gutierrez running very conservative lap times in the 90, but he is going to remain out for the time being. Same thing with Blaze. And the longer they remain out, you know, Harvey that last time by was 52 seconds off of the back end of the 90. And we'll see what it'll be this time around. Yeah, still 52 seconds off of the back end, so he's not gaining any sort of time. These guys pitting at about 15 seconds. I think this is going to be really super interesting once Gutierrez comes down the pit lane. How this is going to transpire. We had one car around on the bridge. I believe that may have been Bruno Diacomo. Haven't seen any sort of accidents on the bridge just yet. We got another car down the pit lane. And here we go. The two race leaders in GT Le Mans down to make their final pit stops of the day. Here we go. Angel Gutierrez into the pit area to make his final pit stop, and we'll see what it'll be. I imagine it's going to be 4 BF Goodriches going all the way around that car. 44 laps remain in the event, and it will be 4 tires going all the way around on the 90. Getting back on the lead lap will be the 8, and a perfect pit stop there for Gutierrez, a 14.28. That might be the fastest time we see all day long. And that team putting the pedal to the metal on the pit area, and he is out and away. A little bit of trouble getting off in the pit lane. Heavy contact there for the 86. but they're able to keep their cars straight. But Angel Gutierrez, about as perfect as a stop as you can ask for, and he is going to get out miles ahead of Chris Harvey on fresh BF Goodrich tires, and things are looking absolutely up for Angel Gutierrez. You could not ask for a better pit stop than that. And Russell Blaze still going to be within striking distance if something goes wrong on Gutierrez's Corvette. But 42 laps to go. The ball is very much in the court of Angel Gutierrez and Daniel Bouchard. A mechanical issue for that Coke 08 machine. It's going to put him in the garage area. Eric Monaco and Philip Torres, rather Pedro Sabata, my apologies, they will come down to make their final pit stop. Same thing with Anthony Joseph, as they had stayed out to try to get a little bit more track position, and they will go down a lap. But now, all you need to do if you're Angel Gutierrez is survive, and if you're Russell Blaze, you see Eric Blaze has got a pretty good gap here for the points for the race lead in GT Daytona, trying to find where that 9 car is. Takashi's giving him a run for his money right now, but again, he's got much fresher tires than that Bud Light 46, so he's definitely got the advantage in that department. And right now, third. How about Nathan Buchanan from going around to being back up in third here for GT Daytona? Trying to see where John Andrews is going to end up there in the 3 machine. He's just running by us lonesome in fourth right now, 5 seconds off of the back end of Chris Harvey. Harvey, who's underneath of Priya McShane, 11 seconds back off of the race lead, and he has had his struggles here and there all day long, but he's back on the lead lap. Hightower transitions back onto the track. McShane a little bit wide through 1. No harm, no foul there. And now Blaze trying to get a little bit of a draft off the back end of the 71. Ooh, nearly putting that 71 out of the way. It's only 2.3 seconds between the 90 and the 86 right now. Those two. And here we go. Takashi's still on the attack with the 9. Blaze holding firm right now. Eric, the dad of Russell. Eric trying to get his first win, and Russell Blaze has gotten around lap traffic, and now nothing separating the 90 from the 86. Still plenty of lap down traffic and plenty of mileage to cover, but in terms of fuel and tires, these guys are good to go. It's just about survival. Here at Old Spice, we have ran 113 laps so far in this event, and things are still far from over, but Angel Gutierrez does have a little bit of passenger side damage in that 90 car from where he hit the wall coming out of the pits. But, you know, what a recovery that this would be for Gutierrez. He's led 67 laps so far today, making 68. There's still plenty of minefields for him to try to navigate around. The same thing goes for Russell Blaze, but both of these drivers having about the best days that you could ask for. And how about Eric Monaco? There's another car down the pit lane. It's Juan Carlos Espinoza. But how about Eric Monaco? Trying to see where that 2 machine is. He's probably, at this point, you know, he's probably wrecked out. No, there he is. He's kept his car clean. You know, finally just barely qualifying into the event. He qualified last. He's made his way all the way up to 7th. He's a lap down. He has been at the back end of the field all day, but that has really been his superpower. to where he was at the back end of the field. He went down a lap early on, but chaos just enveloping in front of him, and he's just kept his nose clean, and he is looking for a nice top 10 run, trying to set himself back up in the mojo for potentially making a stab at this championship. Espinoza back off of the pit lane. Kyle Wood up to 6th after the issues that he sustained. And look, he looked like that he was going to be having a solid run at this win earlier on, but got caught up in an incident, differing pit strategies, and he has made 3 pit stops, so he should be very well good to the go here. Couldn't ask for a better top 10 run there if you're Kyle Wood. And of course, if something happens to Anthony Joseph, who's running in 5th right now, could be a top 5 day, given everything that 49 team has sustained. But again, plenty of time to go in this event. The gap now 15 seconds between the 90 and the 8, as Chris Harvey has just ran into plenty of lap traffic. Robert Mikhailovich, who has remained on track despite the many issues as he's had today, right from the drop of the green flag. The PWF 56 machine is trying to get things going a little bit more here. But we were just about to enter the witching hour of this race, where anything can happen. And Chikira Takashi still fighting with that 9 machine for his race lead in GT Daytona. They have been swapping the lead back and forth, and Chikira might have a run on the inside of the 9. Eric's going to get the great run off of the corner, however. Can Chikira try to hold on through these next set of corners? They're going to favor her. Got the inside through here. Eric is going to have the inside through 2. Can Chikira hold on to get the inside through 3? Doesn't look like she's going to be able to. She's going to drop all the way down. Yeah, you can definitely see that tire disadvantage on that 46 machine. But hey, you know what? Started in 2nd, trying to finish in 2nd. Pretty solid run for Chikira Takashi, all things considered. And again, you look at where she's sitting in the point standings, 187 points off of Dylan Ebrahimian. She's not going to surpass him after today. But again, Eric Blaze, only 145 off of Ebrahimian. That's going to put him where he's sitting right now, pretty close with where that 25 car is. This is going to really shake things up in the standings. Because again, Buchanan, actually Dylan Matthews, she's still in 3rd somehow. Rogel Dorn, he's in 4th. Nathan Buchanan has dropped down significantly, but Prix McShane and Aaron Abel, they're still very well in this in terms of just trying to get a decent run. I think McShane, is she in the top 5 right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's in 6th. She's 1 position off of Aaron Abel. But McShane, in her first race in the FMGTC, she failed to qualify for the opening 3 races, so a championship is going to be pretty much out of the question for that 22 machine. One car went into the dirt. That may have been Bruno Diacomo, who's very slow once again. John Andrews going to get around him. Ooh, a little bit wide once again through 1 for Diacomo. This is shaping up to be a pretty good battle for 2nd, for 3rd. As Chris Harvey, he's going to pull away a little bit. John Andrews is caught up in lap traffic like a fly is caught in a Venus flytrap. Still, anything can happen. Anything has the possibility to happen. Again, we've seen the race leader wreck out here in GT Le Mans several different times today. 7 car, Joseph Wood, he goes wide, just allowing that 90 car to pass him. Of course, turn 8 and turn 3 have been the 2 trouble spots today, as Nathan Buchanan, speaking of him, he looks like he's going to be going an additional lap down. Currently 2 laps down on the pylon. It looks like he's going to be going 3 laps down if Gutierrez is able to get around him. Joseph Wood, who has not had a great day by his stretch, he's got the 86 right behind him. Kyle Wood has dropped down to 6th. Actually, no, he's remaining in 6th. He's still behind Anthony Joseph. Actually, he's behind him. Those two are battling right now based on the timing and scoring. So this is the battle for 5th right now in GT Le Mans. I think Kyle Wood's got a pretty good shot. Joseph's going to throw the block going into 3. Wood trying to find a way around him. I think he might have a tire advantage on this 22. Actually, no. Joseph has the tire advantage. Miller High Life 22 that we haven't talked about really since he was moving chicane at Daytona. Of course, Kyle Wood wasn't in that Daytona race, but he's trying to make it back-to-back top 5 finishes in that ELP number 49 Corvette. Down to the final, under 30 laps to go at Old Spice. Eric Monaco looking to get around plenty of lap traffic in front of him, and he's currently still in that 7th spot. He sees 6th a little bit too far out of reach potentially, but I think if you're Monaco, you're just looking for a solid top 10 run, especially when you got Pedro Sabato right behind you. Monaco with a little bit of a wide line through turn 5. Sabato is going to be right on his 6 o'clock. These guys all in line with one another. Back to GT Daytona we'll go. And, oh, that might be all she wrote for Chikira Takashi. She has gone around in the 46. She is under fire from a lap down car, and well, that might be the fat lady begin to sing for GT Le Mans, GT Daytona, and for GT Le Mans, might be looking a little bit similar here as Gutierrez still right behind that 88. The Willow Springs winner of Alexander Rowe, who is not fared too well today. He does run inside the top 10, so he could very well take the points lead away. Rogel Dorn is only a little bit ahead of him. Juan Carlos Espinoza has pulled his car to the garage area with an engine clutch issue. Rogel Dorn currently 4th. And Alexander Rowe in 7th. So those two who were separated by only 115 points, or only 30 points, I should say, not 115. Rowe and Dorn were separated by 30 points, and those guys, I think Rowe probably has the best chance to take the points lead away from Ibrahimian after all of this. I think he might. I think it's going to be really close between him and Dorn for the points lead for GT Daytona. Going into the Cinco de Mayo Grand Prix. Of course, Angel Gutierrez, the California kid, dominating this race, has laid 81 laps this afternoon. More than double. It's going to be double of Chris Harvey this next time around. Bruno Diaco, he's just been very, very slow in this 12 machine. He's going to be an issue for a lot of these guys, and this is going to be a 4-car pack, which this 90 car is going to catch up to. All these guys already 1 lap down, but Gutierrez is going to put him down another lap. He is just running fantastic lap after fantastic lap, and still keeping that lead, that deficit about 2.62 seconds is that 86. He's caught up to the 88. Still for Russell Blaze, who is back through here. He's kind of just, I think, his own zip code right now, and there he is. That's the 2nd place car with a ton of rear end damage, and Dylan Matthews in 3rd with the same amount of rear end damage in that 26. Blaze just been running his race so far, and that's all you got to really do. Run your race, don't be too aggressive, and just don't try to make any mistakes on yourself. We got 22 to go. Gutierrez is going to put Sabato another lap down. Sabato right now in that 8th spot for GTLM. He's having a little bit, Gutierrez is having a little bit of trouble getting around these lap down cars. Sabato's not making it easy for him, and watch out for this 86 car to creep back into the picture. Angel, he's finally got him a ledge around that 64, but he lost a lot of time. 2.5 the last time, it's down to 1.8. So Gutierrez having a lot of trouble getting around these lap Le Mans cars. Sabato, he's still continuing to try to fight that 90 machine. Angel will finally get around Pedro. And we'll see if he's able to get around Monaco and Nicholas. Coming around to 20 laps to go. Monaco's going to shut the door on him, and well, we've seen the 90 car use the chrome horn a couple of different times in this race. Even though that's mostly been a Chris Harvey thing, that's kind of what's kind of taken him out of contention, is the overuse of the chrome horn. So we'll see if Gutierrez is going to try to punt that 2 car out of his way, but now it's under a second between Gutierrez and Blaze that last time by. And Blaze, he's going to move around as way wide through the corner went Gutierrez, and here comes Russell Blaze. Eric Blaze still the race leader in GT Daytona, and Russell Blaze has climbed his way all the way to the rear bumper of the 90. Oh, nearly some contact with a 2 in the 41, and around goes Monaco and Nicholas. It wasn't a battle for position on track, but that is going to clear the way, and here comes Blaze right behind that 90 machine. The good news for Gutierrez, he was just behind that crash when it transpired. But there is the back end of Angel Gutierrez. We go on board with that Home Depot 90. Blaze tapering off a little bit, but still plenty of meat on the bone in this race, coming around to 18 to go. See what's in front of that 90 car, and doesn't look like there's a whole lot of lap down traffic. You got the 16 of Bryce Egan, but after Egan, I don't think there's really anybody else left. Monaco's going to fall down to 8th. He's going to be on the same lap as Owen Miles right now. But now Russell Blaze, he's got the 90 within his sights, and he has been running exponentially faster laps, was 0.2 of a second slower than Gutierrez the last time by, however. Gutierrez is picking up the gap a little bit more. But now that there's not going to be the crutch of lap down traffic, that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to decide this race, which one of these guys is faster. And I think Gutierrez has got the little smidge of an edge in that department. 0.6 of a second the gap, and now it's down to beneath 56/100th of a second, the gap between the 90 and the 86. Egan on the chopping block, and now beyond Egan, we got Torres, we got Anderson and Lassaire, 2 Daytonas, as well as a stricken Michael Lewis and Anthony Joseph as well, who is, I think, was Joseph caught up in an incident now? I think he's just a little bit slower as Kyle Wood was able to get around him. John Andrews up the racetrack. He's into the wall, but he is still going to retain that 4th spot. These guys are just nowhere near him out on. Actually, they're about halfway around on the track. 16 to go. Make it 15 to go this next time around. And can Angel Gutierrez hold on? And we saw this similar battle in GT Daytona 2 weeks ago at Papyrus, where Logan Alexander looked like he was going to cruise to victory. But then Dylan Ebrahimian snuck up on him in the closing couple of laps and nearly snooker that went away from him, but Alexander was able to win. And now Gutierrez trying to have the same fate as Logan Alexander had, and Russell Blaze trying to avoid that same fate. We'll go back to where Eric Blaze is right now. Still a pretty significant lead over Chikira Takashi. A 6-second lead over that 46 car, so he just needs to not run into any issues. He should be good to go. Monaco, like you said, we drop back to 8th, but he's essentially going to be locked in a top 10 spot. Unless he wrecks out, as Owen Miles is all the way deep there on the 59. And here we go. Still, the air is filled with bogeys for Angel Gutierrez, and got a couple of significant bogeys with the 66 and the 42. Right now on the chopping block for Gutierrez. He's been able to widen that gap up to 75 hundredths of a second over that 86, so he's got a 3/4 of a second lead over Blaze. 13 to go at the line. Can Gutierrez survive this onslaught of lap traffic in front of him? Time will only tell, but he's been really good at navigating around lap traffic so far. First on the chopping block, last year's defending champion and defending winner of this race, Esteban Leclerc. And where will Gutierrez go to try to get around that Rain X66? Going to catch him right in turn number 8, and that's going to be a trouble spot there for Gutierrez. He's going to go to the inside, and he'll put Leclerc down an additional lap, and now he'll catch up to the pole sitter of Kyler Anderson. Not a great race for Anderson, not a great race for Leclerc. Actually, Leclerc is only 3 laps down, just outside the top 10 in GT Daytona. Leclerc is also going to be passed by Blaze. Blaze down the inside, way up the racetrack goes Gutierrez, and here comes Russell Blaze. Not quite able to get the handle off of turns 4 and 5. I think turn 3 has been a real struggle point for Gutierrez in this race, and that's coincidentally been the strongest section of track for Blaze. I think if he's going to make his move, it's going to be in turn number 3. It's got to be in turn number 3. 11 laps to go in the Old Spice Easter Grand Prix. In case you're just tuning in, we have got a battle for the ages. Angel Gutierrez started this race in 4th, and Russell Blaze started all the way back in 11th, but he has survived, and now Gutierrez gets into the 4, and the race leader for GT Le Mans spins. Angel Gutierrez was picture perfect all day long. He makes one mistake with a lap down car, and that's going to be curtains for the win. Is he ahead of the 8 car? He is. And now Eric Blaze also with an issue. He get run over by the 7, and now Chikira Takashi stampering for home. Drama on lap 141 for both class leaders. And as one Blaze brother will go to the race lead in one class, the other one, rather as one Blaze relative, the son will go to the lead in GT Le Mans. The father might surrender this lead in GT Daytona. Here comes Chikira Takashi. A big send on the outside for Eric Blaze, but no, Takashi still will go back to the race lead in GT Daytona. Turn number 3 has been nothing short of calamity corner. Chikira Takashi with a completely beat to hell rear end will go for the race lead, and now Eric Blaze has to go back on offense. Drama here with under 10 laps to go. Russell Blaze to the race lead, and Angel Gutierrez, he's only 7.5 seconds back, so if something happens with that 86 car, Angel's going to have a pretty good chance to get back in here. I think there definitely could be trouble. You got that 12 machine of Diacomo, who's been a moving chicane. He got the 54, but Blaze able to get around the 54 car. And Gutierrez, again, there's just nothing that you could do there. He is still stuck behind Philip Torres. And that is just nothing short of agonizing pain. And there's not a whole lot of GT Daytona cars that are in front of Russell Blaze. Meanwhile, we go back here, and Eric Blaze, he is just hemorrhaging spots right now. There's something significantly wrong on that 9 machine. Who is wide, nearly gets run over by Aaron Abel. Abel, who's able to get up to 3rd, trying to get 2nd around this 9 car. It's all gone down the tubes for both of the dominant cars today. As Eric Blaze getting swarmed around, he's going to drop back to 3rd. He might fall outside the top 5. Rogel Dorn now up to 3rd. Aaron Abel up to 2nd, and is a completely new race here. And now can Shakira Takashi, she is losing a lot of time to Rogel Dorn. Dorn, albeit actually Aaron Abel, who he's got a lot of fast Daytonas right behind him. You know, the gap right now for the race lead, Takashi with a 149. Aaron Abel is only 4 seconds back of that 46. I think Abel might have a chance to win here, but he's not going to have a whole lot of laps left to do it. You know, we got 6 laps to go. Trying to see where the 86, there's the 86 who has gotten around the 54 and the 12. We're going to be getting 5 laps to go this next time around. We'll see what the interval will be, but I don't know. I think Aaron Abel might have a chance, especially if something transpires with this 46 and 59. Again, these guys are battling for position on track. And if something happens with a 3 car as well, I think Aaron Abel, he might be in a really good spot to win this race for GT Daytona if something happens to Shakira Takashi. She's got a lot of rear end damage, something that Aaron Abel doesn't have. And the gap that last time by is Abel trying to hold off Rogel Dorn was only 3 seconds that last time by. Oh, it's going to be close in GT Le Mans or in GT Daytona, but in GT Le Mans it might be all but over, but the crying. And you know what's funny? After Angel Gutierrez in this race last year, when it was at Denver for the race in April, he led the most laps, but he wrecked out, and that paved the way for Justin Williams, who drove this Map Engineering 86 car to victory. And 1 year later, history looks to be repeating itself as there'll be 3 laps to go this next time around for Russell Blaze. Just trying to get around Anthony Joseph, who is still only 1 lap down. And now John Andrews has gotten around Chris Harvey. Harvey coming off of the pit lane, so Harvey had to come back down. It's going to take Harvey out. He's going to hit the pit wall. How about that for John Andrews, who is going to be up to 3rd, looking to get a podium finish there with 3 laps to go. Just trying to hold on to that 3 car. But again, now the gap has stagnated as Takashi has actually gained a little bit onto Aaron Abel, so it looks like Abel is going to get a 2nd place finish after all of this potentially. Still plenty of time to go, but an 18-second gap between Angel Gutierrez, who I don't think is going to fall down to 3rd. He is. Gutierrez down the pit lane with only sticks high in the air. 2 laps to go. He is going to fall all the way to 3rd after being forced to pit. And now Russell Blaze has gotten into 7. Joseph Wood goes around. And now Chris Harvey, who's a lap down. That was nearly disaster there for the 86. Nearly disaster, and he nearly got taken out there, but white flag in the air. 1 more time around the Old Spice Raceway for Russell Blaze. What a race it has been so far. He's got a 30-second gap. Angel Gutierrez will fall down to 4th. You just got to run a clean lap. That's all you got to do. Chikira Takashi back in here as well. She's got Owen Miles right behind her. She'll take her final lap. Well, what a job, what a drive, and what a run for Russell Blaze. As he comes out of turn number 8. Anthony Joseph too far out in front of him to do anything about it. Checkered flag in the air. Russell Blaze, your winner in GT Le Mans here at Old Spice. And going back to GT Daytona, Gutierrez will drop down to 4th after being forced to pit. Chikira Takashi, no covers out back. Started this race in 2nd, was beat around a couple of different times, but it's not going to matter. Off of turn numero 8, Chikira Takashi, a winner. Here in her 4th ever race, she gets the job done in GT Daytona. And that will conclude what can only be described as one of the wildest races that we're going to see all season long. As Eric Blaze fell all the way down. I believe he finished in 6th, in fact, I think. As Prix and McShane and Rogaldorn went around him. But how about that? Russell Blaze gets the job done, but Eric Blaze, unfortunately, not able to get things done there in that 09 machine. He's going to end up finishing deep in the grid, but only one car on the lead lap other than Russell Blaze. That was John Andrews, who goes up to 2nd after the start from hell. He's going to get this. He's going to get that penultimate position in that 3 machine. That's going to help him a lot in the point standings. Chris Harvey will go to 3rd, I believe. That should slingshot him up to the points lead after everything that he went through today as well. Yeah, that's going to give Chris Harvey the points lead. Angel Gutierrez, 94 laps led, and he just had to come down the pit lane, and he finished in 4th. That is gut-wrenching, and Anthony Joseph will round out the top 5. Chikira Takashi leading only a handful of laps there at the end. Aaron Abel, after everything that he went through, he's going to get 2nd. Dylan Matthews, same thing for her. She's going to get 3rd. Prix and McShane, how about McShane? Qualified deep in the field, 18th. And she's going to finish 4th on the grid in that 22 machine. Rogaldorn is going to round out the top 5. We'll take a look at all the drivers that failed to finish the race. Plenty of mechanical failures in this race. Pretty much almost everything under the sun. A couple of gearbox failures for Kasumi Takashi and Daniel Bouchard. But no accidents other than Caleb Rose and Zachary Fitzwater and Lauren Martinez. Everybody else just having mechanical issues today that failed to finish the race. But it doesn't mean it wasn't a chaotic race, and it doesn't mean that it wasn't absolutely wild. As Russell Blaze, your winner in GT Le Mans, and Eric Blaze, your winner in Russell Blaze, your winner in GT Le Mans, and Chikira Takashi, your winner in GT Daytona. And wow, is all I've really got to say. And let's towel off here. We had 2 great races. We had a great race. It wasn't as chaotic 2 weeks ago. This race was all chaos. That's what we got here when we come to Old Spice. It was even more chaotic today with the cooler temperatures that we had here. But that's going to do it here from the Old Spice Raceway. Congratulations once again to Russell Blaze, as well as Chikira Takashi, for winning the Old Spice Easter Grand Prix. Next Saturday, we're back in the saddle with the Mission Barbecue Cup Series for a 3rd Super Speedway race. I guess our 4th technical Super Speedway race, 3rd officially Super Speedway race of the season. From the Diamond Ridge Super Speedway, from the Cracker Barrel Volunteer 500, coverage for the 9th race of the season for the Mission Barbecue Cup Series, if I'm not mistaken, airs at noon Eastern here on the NESRN next Saturday afternoon. The next time we'll see the FMGTC will be next month, exactly a month tomorrow, down in Mexico City. Coverage for the Telcel Cinco de Mayo Grand Prix from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez airs on Tuesday, May 5th at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on your home for the FlowMaster Grand Touring Championship, the North American Sim Racing Network. But thank you all so much for tuning in once again to today's coverage of the FlowMaster Grand Touring Championship. Here are your point standings after race number 4 of the 2026 FMGTC season. And from Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, on behalf of the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great evening, folks, and enjoy the goodies from the Easter Bunny tomorrow. Have a happy Easter.